Hey everyone, and welcome back. Another year means another 25 must-have Arma 3 mods, and this list has some of the all-time bangers in it, so let's get right into it. At number 25 is Weapon Inspect by Exocet. Content creators everywhere rejoiced when this thumbnail generator was launched. By hitting Right-Alt-I, you examine whatever weapon is in your hand at the time. There's options for main weapon, sidearm, missile launcher, and even your binoculars. Pretty awesome little mod that provides a new view of some of the assets we've been playing with for years. At number 24 is FPV Drone Crocus mod by Sam and Darkball. Since the early 2022, we've seen a flood of drone mods hitting the workshop as drone warfare becomes more and more prevalent in today's battlefield, especially after the thousands of videos that have surfaced from the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. This mod is probably one of the closest I've seen to the actual thing, and even includes varying degrees of signal strength depending on how far from the operator the drone is. Signal boosters are included with this mod, so you can place them along known flight paths to keep the picture clear. Coming in anti-tank and anti-personnel variants, this mod will terrorize enemy troops and vehicles for years to come. At number 23 is Korsac by Vective, Thoroughfare, and Brominum. Korsac provides a modern take on the Eastern European setting with Arma 3 assets scattered throughout. This is a gorgeous 8x8 kilometer map that will excite all of the Arma 2 and Arma 3 Chernarus lovers alike. While not the biggest map out there, what is there is chock full of beauty and personality. It features a main town with numerous small villages dotting its MSR, including industrial sites and farms scattered throughout. There's also a very well built and serviceable main operating air base that has plenty of room for operations to be launched from. Korsac also comes with its own custom weather, sounds, and lighting effects, all at a tiny download size of only 350 megabytes. A ton of features that will surely warrant a spot in your mod list. At number 22, we've got Ladder Tweak Remastered by Polpox. A literal game changer of a mod, getting up and down ladders is no longer a massive chore. I can't count how many times I've gotten my cheeks clapped on a ladder when climbing, and thanks to Polpox, my cheeks are safe. Not content with getting us up the ladder quicker, he also incorporated the slide down feature because his balls are just that massive and he wants you to know it. At number 21 is JCA Sig Sauer P320 by Grave. Probably one of my favorite individual weapon mods in a while. The P320 is a perfect sidearm addition, fitting in perfectly with the Arma 3 base game and modded scenes alike. Beautifully textured in 3 different colored variants and chambered in 9mm, so you got plenty of magazine capacity. Perfect weapon for law enforcement chads and military alike. This thing punches above its weight in the modded scene and should always be included on your mod list if you're a ground pounder. At number 20, we've got 2035 Modern Equipment Replacement Helmet. Another mod that fits into both the Arma 3 assets and modded scene perfectly. This one was developed to be a replacement for the vanilla lightweight helmet by including a ton of different camo schemes, as well as helmet covers and vanilla NVG compatibility. These helmets are gorgeous and act as a secondary centerpiece to your ground kit. This one is another mod that hasn't left my personal mod list since I downloaded it. At number 19 is the Interrogation Execution module by M9SD. This mod maker has made some incredible quality of life mods over the years, and this one is specifically for the mission makers that want to spice up their worlds a bit. Initiated through the ZEUS interface during an actual mission, this mod gives any player the ability to walk up to the affected entity and begin interrogating them or executing them. This mod will be awesome for PvP milsim, giving the Op4 guys a mechanism to play out their villainous roles, and the Blue 4 guys get a new sense of urgency to rescue the HVI before they're killed. At number 18, we've got Simple Persist by Tad. A mod true to its name, Simple Persist saves your profile, character inventory, position, and health information on multiplayer servers when you log off. This is mainly for those roleplay servers that aim for continuity when logging in and out. Handy so you don't have to remake your loadout, and it saves the state of your character wherever you left it, so there's no restarting if you've been on a long journey and need to log off. Or worst case scenario, you get disconnected or desynced from the server. This mod is a lifesaver for many role players. At number 17 is CQB Interactions by Flex7103. A wonderful addition for mission makers. Using the compositions in Eden Editor, you can place it down wherever you like in your mission, and by using triggers allows mission makers to create scenarios where the AI reacts to being confronted. Players can interact with enemies and civilians by raising their weapons at them. Civilians will usually surrender outright, as will many enemies that are outnumbered or wounded. This will add plenty of depth for missions that require a tactical crawl when you're not simply shooting everything that moves. At number 16, we've got ZEUS WARGAME RTS mod by Jack the Viper. Turning ZEUS into an RTS style game isn't anything new, but it has been perfected by Jack. While this mod is still a work in progress, with new features being added all the time, the state it's in now is highly serviceable and a lot of fun for those single player guys that also love a little RTS action. The mod includes custom waypoints, context sensitive menus, and a new planning mode that allows you to create individual unit movements, which they will execute without question. This is an RTS fan's wet dream in Arma 3, and I've been having too much fun telling my armor to run over infantry every chance I get. Really digging deep and pulling up some of those Red Alert memories. Jack is very active in his forums and on the Steam page, and you simply cannot put a price on a mod developer that is open and reactive to feedback. At number 15 is SOG AI by Johnny Boy. An absolute banger of an AI enhancement mod. SOG AI includes a new command wheel that adds a ton of lethality to your AI squad mates. In the words of the creator, it turns your AI squad mates from a liability and into an asset, and I couldn't agree more. Commands like stealth are completely overhauled and add a ton of immersion to your single player gameplay. I could sit here all day and rattle off things, but one thing that caught my eye is when you command your team to go stealth mode, they'll actually shut the hell up and start using hand signals, as well as when engaging an enemy, but only a couple of your troops have suppressors attached, they'll be the only ones that actually engage, so your position isn't compromised. Even though the name is SOG AI, it's actually compatible with all the DLCs ever launched. A full list of compatible DLC can be seen on the mod's workshop page. I definitely slept on this mod earlier throughout the year, but a ton of people recommended it, and I'm really glad I finally checked it out. At number 14 is Dagger Island Training Complex by Fingerjam. You guys know I simp hard for good training maps, and this one is one of the better ones to hit the workshop this year. A terrain centered around all aspects of combat training, this map includes 14 training areas, 8 FOBs, 8 objective areas, 3 drop zones, and a well-designed airbase to launch all your operations from. If you're looking to host training operations for a unit on a map, then Dagger Island Training Complex is for you. Yeah, at number 13, we've got the mighty F-117A Nighthawk by FarmFox. The Nighthawk has finally made an appearance on the workshop, and she is a beaut. Capable of penetrating enemy airspace and delivering its laser-guided bombs with precision, the F-117 is a must-have for any Arma 3 aviation enthusiast. She looks absolutely menacing, ready to topple the regime and send 2,000 pounds of fuck you right through a warlord's window. At number 12 is Advanced Equipment. Truly a gem of a mod that is unlike anything else I've seen. Advanced Equipment utilizes ACE to provide unmatched interactability with assets in game. An example of how this mod can be utilized is by building a mission that requires a team to steal intel on a USB flash drive, and then actually plug in the USB flash drive into a laptop to retrieve information. It also has its own logistics system, allowing you to open and close certain equipment in-game and load them into vehicles, and vice versa. This is the perfect mod to set up a command post with. This is an absolutely next level mod that should not be passed up by any of the mission makers that use ACE. At number 10, we've got Arma 3 Arrowhead by Abuelo Ceboleta. This campaign is apparently 5 years in the making, and he has absolutely killed it. Set in the canonical backdrop of the Eastwind campaign during the last days of the conflict on Altus, these missions tell a story of NATO Special Forces operator as well as an FIA guerrilla fighter. There's been a ton of love poured into this campaign, and it shows in its attention to detail. If you're hungry for an awesome 2035-centric campaign, then you really need to grab Arrowhead. Yeah, number 10 is C-130 Tactical Express by XRAM. My guy again comes in clutch with some beautiful aircraft liveries, this time for the venerable C-130. You will need the Lockheed C-130 mod by Sabre to access these beautiful skins. Included are a bunch of beautiful aircraft, including some unique ones like an AFSOC MC-130J skin and a couple awesome US Marine Corps KC-130J Harvest Hawks, complete with Hellfire launcher and a pylon-mounted forward-looking infrared, giving the Harvest Hawk one of the most flexible roles of any heavy aircraft in Arma 3, akin to its real-life counterpart. Moroccan, British, South African, and a myriad of other beautiful liveries are also included in this pack, making it a must-have for C-130 lovers. At number 9, we've got the TPNVG True Panoramic Night Vision by Harmless Multis. Hands down, one of the sexier milsim mods to hit the workshop lately. This mod introduces a true panoramic night vision sight that has a slight transparency and black areas surrounding the viewports so you can maintain limited situational awareness. Coupled with other mods like Modern Warfare NVG mod or Fox Enhanced NVGs, makes this a must-have for those tier 1 operators out there. At number 8 is Animated Grenade Throwing by Cucumber. This one simply rocks. By hitting the grenade button, you now take a grenade from your vest and hold it out and ready. And it's not until you pull a pin does the grenade actually begin to count down. You can cook the grenades in your hand if you're ballsy enough, which makes assaulting rooms a breeze, and adds an extra layer of protection when you're at the arsenal and accidentally hit the grenade button. At number 7, we've got Death and Hit Reactions by Web Knight. A lot of people were kind of torn on this one, citing the over-the-top look of the death animations, but I personally thought it was a healthy change from the sudden drop of old. You can change the settings of how often these animations occur in the add-on options if you don't want to see them every single time. Again, I personally love it, and the cinematic style of animations definitely adds a bit of enjoyment to my single-player sessions, especially with explosions. It kind of reminds me of the dynamic damage the AI would have in GoldenEye, where they'd react to exactly where you shot them, which if you think about it, that was really way ahead of its time. At number 6 is Task Force 373 MH-47G Soar Chinook by Get Trippy and Lima. This is the ultimate special operations aircraft built on the battle-proven CH-47 base aircraft. This model incorporates terrain-following Silent Night radar, a rescue hoist, and one of the most sophisticated avionics packages ever loaded onto a combat helicopter. The MH-47G is the go-to for deploying large force-size elements into an operation and then sustaining them with supplies and fire support as needed. To give the aircraft added legs, she can also tank off the USAF mod KC-135 refueler, giving this one of the highest utilities of any special operations helicopter on the workshop. A full list of its capabilities can be found on the Steam Workshop page. At number 5 is Sahatra by Jujurat. Probably one of the most atmospheric desert terrains to hit the workshop in years. This terrain can be easily mistaken for Baghdad because that was his exact inspiration. This terrain is semi-fictionalized to be the outskirts of Baghdad or any other Iraqi settlement, honestly. Sahatra was built with the early Iraq invasion scenarios based around the 2003 timeframe, and this terrain is perfect for it. The lighting is gorgeous and the environment is detailed and lived in, with plenty of spaces for the enemy to hide. At number 4 is the RKSL Advanced Jet Trainer by RKSL Rock. Essentially a cross between a T-38 and an F-35, the Advanced Jet Trainer is still in development, but is without a doubt one of my favorite fixed-wing aircraft additions to the workshop in a hot minute. For the longest time, I've wanted a high-fidelity fast jet trainer in the workshop, and years back, I had hoped that someone would put a T-38 Talon out there. Rock must have heard my plea because he's delivered an absolute unit of a mod with this one. Capable of sitting a pilot and an instructor, the Advanced Trainer is sleek, gorgeous, and capable. In the slick configuration, she acts as the perfect fast jet trainer, the second step in fixed-wing pilot training for fighter pilots in the pipeline, following the T6. Additionally, and the keen-eyed flyers out there may have already noticed, but she has beefy landing gear and a tailhook, making her carrier capable, satisfying the training requirement for both land-based and naval-based units. She isn't just meant for training, and in fact comes armed to the teeth with air-to-air and air-to-ground weaponry. This brings her into the light attack, light fighter category, and is an awesome complement to the FA-181 and A-149 alike. I can't wait for the public release of this bad boy, and as soon as it does, I'll update the link below with the Steam page. Go ahead and follow RKSL Rock on the workshop and check out all of the other amazing mods he's already created while you wait for this one. At number 3, we've got 3DMA Western Dusk by the 3DMA team in collaboration with Karmika. This mod includes some of the sexiest looking modern Western gear you'll download, period. Many players drew immediate comparisons to USP gear, and that's fine because they're both incredibly well-made assets with massively dedicated teams behind them. This mod brings a bunch of gorgeously crafted and textured assets to the tune of 5 helmets, 2 new NVGs, 6 sets of uniforms, 16 vests with varied configurations, and 6 backpacks. This is a screenshot maker's wet dream and should be in the mod list of every milsim player out there. And hell, it should be in your mod list even if you don't go full Tactisim boner on us. This shit is fire and deserves the love. At number 2 is ACSTG AI Cannot See Through Grass by Claudio Pelés. This magician seriously woke up, looked down, realized his balls were positively gargantuan, and spit out this banger mod all before lunch. This mod does exactly as advertised. The AI can no longer see you through brush. This changes the AI's logic when a player or friendly AI is behind cover, and they will no longer spam you from 2 kilometers away with a headshot through some bushes because your big toe was poking out. This man deserves a medal and a lap dance. And finally, at number 1 is Project Rax, or Royal Army Corps of Sarani by Wild 427. This project has been years in the works and had what seemed like the entire workshop waiting with bated breath. On the 1st of April 2023, the world was finally gifted with one of the best faction mods to hit the workshop since Arma 3's launch. The entire mod is broken up into 2 mods, one for the Rax forces and one for the SLA forces. Requiring only RHS mods to function, Prax is positively loaded with content, much of which was custom made by Wild himself over the years, which lended to its lengthy release timeline. But the wait was more than worth it. The Rax forces are backed by the West, and conversely the SLA forces are backed by the East, so you can expect each side's weapons, equipment, and vehicles to reflect this support. The vehicles that were chosen for inclusion are based on many real-world examples of foreign military sales across our own world, as the United States will often sell surplus or outdated weapons platforms to minor nations to help bolster their national defense while securing joint political power. Sarani was a perfect example of this, as many platforms were either once used by the US or are still currently in active service but are sporting more technologically superior upgrades. Many of these assets will feel like modernized hand-me-downs, and that was the intent. Give the Sarani forces modernized versions of older variants that will do the job and do it well. Clocking in at over 800 new assets in total, Project Rax is hands down my pick for the faction mod of the year. Well guys, that's all I have for this year's top 25 mods. I hope you found some new mods to use or simply enjoyed hearing about some that you've already been using. As always, I want to thank the gods among men that are my patrons and channel members. Thank you guys so much for your continued support of myself and this channel. If your chin is chiseled enough and you want to join the ranks of these superior beings, see the appropriate links in the description below. And of course, I want to thank you, the viewer, for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Your interaction is absolutely invaluable to this channel and is the sole reason for its growth. Thank you all again for your time and for watching, and I will see you in the next video.